everyone, welcome to Global Morning. It's a weekend and we're here right in your face telling you that it's a beautiful day and a beautiful Saturday to start having the best of rest if you can and doing the things you couldn't do in the weekday and telling you that you have the time to yourself. For those of you that have the time, stay at home. But for those of you on the walkway or doing something different for the day because it's Saturday, some of you probably be going to party. It's a Saturday, but we say welcome to Global Morning. I am Anita Patrick. I have my guest sitting here with me. I said my guest, can you imagine? I'm always turning into my guest. I have my co-host here with me, President of Mukhtar. Mukhtar, how are you doing?
Good morning, Anita. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. I'm doing very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How did you sleep? Did you sleep well at all?
Honestly, I did not sleep much, but we are here and we're going to make the best of the day.
All right, we're here to spice up your day. It's a Saturday and we want to tell you that we have loads of activities lined up for you for today being Saturday. We have, of course, the newspaper review segment where we'll bring you up to speed with headlines making headways in the newspapers. I will also bring you taste and texture. We'll also bring you a bit of some entertaining things and something exciting in the hospitality sector. We'll also bring you something to talk about, a healing tool for us as a nation, where we'll discuss with our guests who will be joining us shortly on the program to talk about all of those things. And we'll have a bit of relaxation and sports. We'll have some aerobics for you to shake up your body if you've not done that. Because coming out to the office, I saw some people moving around and I'm like, oh, I wish I could. But this is part of the exercise as well, coming down here to sit with you. All right, Mukhtar?
Certainly. You know, the weekend is mostly for rest, even though I think it has been evolving that people don't rest as much as they do.
Yeah.
But like we always say, always find time to rest because amidst this busy schedule, the most important thing is for you to be well. And wellness comes with resting and exercising your body. That's why we have so much for them that would happen in that manner.
Okay, you've heard it there. We have lots of things lined up for you. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on this particular weekend breakfast program on Saturday, Global Morning Weekend. And of course, we have loads of things lined up for you. Like we said, newspaper review is up next. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. It's still Global Morning, and we're here. I told you we have a lineup of activities, those of it for you for today's weekend. And I told you we're going to talk about national unity and a bit of entertainment. It has to do with music and how we combine all of that to give Nigerians the best and everyone across the globe to keep them on track with the ease of life. Life is easy. It doesn't matter what plays around or what the challenges you're faced with, but it is good to have sometimes yourself, give yourself some peace and always smile at all times, because obviously, you know, that's my major thing. I always smile when I come here because it's the best place to relax and have a good time. Well, I have with me the guest in the studio, but before that, let's quickly tell you what she's into and what brought her here to us and what she intends to share with you out there in the world. Like I told you, it's about national unity. That's the focus, and music is one area we're looking for at, and that's a soothing tool to healing, to getting you off your day. Well, let's tell you that music has always been more than entertainment in Nigeria, from independence era songs that unify citizens to modern hits that cut across tribes, languages. Music plays a powerful role in national healing and identity. Today we'll explore how music can be used to foster peace, unity, and healing in a diverse nation. Well, I have with me in the studio an amazing personality who has used this particular tool to add value to Nigeria, to give us the best and tell us that we can be one as a nation. It is in our interest to embrace one another. It doesn't matter the tribe, the religion, whatever nation you're from, whatever ethnicity you're from, but it's good to embrace one another. I have in the studio an amazing personality who is an inspirational singer. She's also an actor, and I see her doing a lot of things that has to do with embracing people from coldness in time when they have to be, where they face challenges of losing their loved ones in terms of crisis. I've seen her do that work, and she's been doing fantastically well. That's why we have her to share her thoughts and how music can embrace the person of Miss Josephine Abraham. It's good to have you in the studio, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you look radiant as always.
Thank you.
How is it getting here? How's your day started so well with you?
No, but it's fine. You know, on Saturdays the roads are just as
Quiet as ever.
quiet, and it's drizzling a bit. Blessings from above. So I love it. It's nice. It was
Okay.
good.
All right, it's good to have you. And like I said, it's about the healing part, how music has actually helped to see how people can embrace themselves and take off the whole pain and feel one as a nation. But before I allow you to speak on all of those things, let's quickly take a bit of your song so our audience can understand where the focus is. Let's take a song that talks about embracing one another and having unity. We'll come back to ourselves and tell you more and what gave her that drive to put out that song. Stay with us.
Taking a walk on a breezy evening, the trees were clapping their branches to the rhythm of the wind, carried away with the serenity of the atmosphere. Suddenly, I was jolted by a sharp pain on my foot as I fell to the ground. I had just kicked a stone. Trying to pull my little frame up from the ground, suddenly I heard noises, people wailing and crying for help, women and children being hacked to death, buildings set ablaze. All of a sudden, the serene atmosphere had become a battlefield. Everyone scampered for their dear life, dragging children, properties, and even cattle along for safety. Again, back at my little apartment where I lived, tuned the television and I saw what was frightening. I saw yellow flames, thick black smoke. A pipeline had just been vandalized. Once again outside my apartment building, there was violent noise in the air. I ran out to find out that my neighbors were fighting in the name of God. Then I looked up to the heavens, confused about the events of the season. I wanted to catch a glimpse of God and ask, why the commotion? Again I saw a man handcuffed. He had stolen so much money from the boats of Nigeria, and the people were suffering. My heart sank when I saw this. I heard a story about two elephants fighting and the grass suffering. But here again I saw so many elephants fighting, and I thought to myself, how deep will the suffering of this grass be if so many elephants are fighting over the grass? But when I moved closer, I noticed that the grass was not grass after all, but it was Nigerians, and the elephants, the political class. My heart sank when I saw this. Then I looked up to the heavens to catch a glimpse of God and ask, why the commotion? As I stared intently into the sky in deep thought, I saw a finger writing in the sky, and the words were, where will you run to?
Welcome back. I hope that song went straight to your soul like it did with mine, because I got thinking, where can Nigeria be if we can embrace one another? Looking at the narration before the music came, looking at the pain, the agony, the challenges Nigerians are faced with on a daily, and where people tend to get back to their holes and don't want to even speak about issues. That's why you see depression, you see suicide. People don't even want to share their thoughts or their pain. But I hope that songs like this, music like this, can help people heal and get them on track to where Nigeria should be and where Africa can stand to embrace each other as one, as brothers and sisters. Well, I still have with me my guest, an amazing guest with me, Miss Josephine Abraham, and she did that song. Madam Abraham, let's talk about this. I saw your narration from the onset before you got into the music proper. What inspired you? Of course, you're an inspirational musician, but what gave you the thought? Because Nigeria is a whole lot to embrace. What pushed you to see that we need healing as a nation?
Okay, so I have been privileged to actually interact far and wide in the country, from the grassroots levels to some high levels and all. And I've seen, I was looking at the attitude, I was looking ahead, I was just thinking that if nothing is done about the way we are right now, we will destroy ourselves. Okay. Like you can see when people travel out and you bring your green passport, yeah, and then people are scrutinizing you, they are extra scrutinizing you just because you have the green passport, you are in Nigeria. I saw that happening. Okay. And I also saw the way that people are talking about North and South. They're talking about West, they're talking about South, they're talking about Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. And I'm wondering, but we're Nigerians, right? Mm-hmm. And it's almost looking like we are fighting ourselves within ourselves. If we're fighting ourselves within ourselves, so who's going to even love us? Would you blame other people if they don't love us? If we maltreat ourselves, yeah. other people are watching us. They're seeing how we treat ourselves. They're seeing what we're doing to ourselves. Why do you expect them not to do the same thing to you when you go to their countries? And so it feels like you should even really begin to love yourselves. Treat yourselves well. Respect one another. And when that happens, people are also watching you. They see that this group of people love themselves. This group of people defend themselves. They stick together. They're in unity. It's very difficult for anyone to break us. But when we're all scattered, everybody, this one says I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm Hausa, I'm Fulani, and you're seeing the insecurity. Now, when you hear insecurity, you actually almost think it's just when people are shooting guns. No, people are just insecure in themselves.
True.
And all of us contribute to that insecurity. People are angry in themselves. All of us contribute one way or another to that insecurity. By the way we treat ourselves, by the way we respond to ourselves, even the ordinary Nigerian. Yes. So I was thinking that if I do a song like this, I'll be able to appeal to the conscience of Nigerians. Especially when I say if you hate your brother, if you hate your sister, where will you go? You know, so we need to be loving one another. Okay. We need to show kindness to one another. We need to embrace one another. And that does not mean that we do not have differences. Okay. Because even if all of you were born in one house, you're still going to have differences. And we should celebrate those differences. Okay. If we don't, then we won't be able to work together. Okay. And if we don't work together, then everywhere is going to scatter. Have you ever seen a broomstick, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you see a broomstick, it's tied together. And if you try to break it, then you can't. Not even the tiniest one will break. But if you manage to separate them into small, small bits, then you can break all. And so if we don't come together as a people and speak as one voice, work for the interest of one another, then we're really not going anywhere. So that's what made me to do this song. And I thought this should really wake up the conscience
of Nigerians.
Yes.
Okay, well, Nigeria has over 250 ethnic groups and 500 languages.
Yes.
Music tends to bridge that difference because, just like I talk about sports as well, I tell people sports is one thing that unites the nation, unites people, but music is also another tool where it unites people, it gives people an edge, people vibe to the energy that comes with the music because the story is trying to tell.
Yes.
And from your indication, you've said that your passion for Nigeria to see growth, to see stability, to see oneness, also pushed your aspirations to get this song on track.
Yes.
And you've worked to the grassroots. Do you see the love starting from that point of the grassroots to self-love, to unity as a people, to as a community, to the family bond? Because I tell people the society starts with the family. How united are people at the family bond? Because we still have people who don't like themselves at the family bond, so take it out to the society, and that triggers a lot into the society.
You're right.
So how can this change the narrative or the trajectory of this narration or this narrative we've had over the years?
Okay, so working with people at the grassroots means that you're going to come across people who some have even given up on themselves. They're just on the streets. They are ready to do anything. They don't even think they're anybody, whether they're human or not. They don't even know anymore. You come across those kind of people. You come across those who everyone has told them. They thought that there was something good about them, but over time, people began to see their wrong behaviors, especially among youths, and then they have written them off, so they wrote themselves off.
Okay.
Now, how do we resolve this? First of all, unity starts within you.
Okay.
If you're not together yourself,
you can work
as you have to have that. You have to be together, and you have to have that security inside of you to know that, yes, I'm together. Your spirit, soul, and mind are together, right?
Yeah.
So once that happens, then you actually appreciate the humanity that is you. Okay. And so then you show yourself kind. You're kind to yourself. if you know that there's something good in you, right?
Bring it out.
Yes, you bring it out. And if you also recognize that you don't have everything together. So it's easy for you to be kind to another person.
Okay.
It's easy. If you love yourself, you'll be able to love another person. So we'll come across people who thought that they were nobodies. And then they thought that everybody dislikes them.
Okay.
If you think so, then you have a victim mentality.
Okay.
So everybody's against you and you are against everybody. So, but then we'll be able to work with a lot of them and you begin to see value in them, because everybody that is born as a human being came with some values. And as a little child growing up, you actually saw yourself. You could see yourself. You can see that I'm somebody. But then as you grow older, and then you start to see what's happening around you, that begins to redefine
you as a person.
And at some point, your worldview is just changed completely. So, first of all, we have to work on the esteem of people.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked on their esteem, and then we're authentic. If you're authentic with the average Nigerian, even the one that is insecure, they tend to now see the value in themselves. Okay, once that happens, they become helpful to the society. Now, talking about the family, is these individuals, right? Everybody who's born is different from the other person. People are not the same. So is this individual's insecurity, that also affects people that are born in the same family, because they're not all the same. Yes, they're born in the same family, but they're not all the same. And then you find that the way that you respond to one child is not the same way you responded to the other child, either because you were at a different level or season of life when this other child came on board. So you see yourself paying attention to some because of your season of life. The other ones you didn't pay attention because either you were stressed out or you were doing something different at that time. So your responses are different.
Okay. Well, let's play around that line of thought. Well,
sorry.
Research has shown that music therapy heals a whole lot.
Yeah.
And changes a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's take the music, and when we come back, we'll talk more on that narrative. Let's take this music and we'll be right back.
The government of the nation, we've got to protect the resources of the nation. Cause you see, our nation is full of God's blessings. But if you spoil the nation, if you spoil Nigeria, if you spoil the facilities of Nigeria, where will you run to? Where will you run to? Let's go, Nigeria. Let's not destroy Nigeria, cause it's a nation. Please remember, there's a place like home, and that home is Nigeria. Come on, let's build Nigeria. But if you blow up Nigeria, if you confuse Nigeria, if you spoil the name of Nigeria, where will you run to? Where will you run to? Where will you run to? If you hate your brother, if you hate your sister, if you hate your kinsman, where will you find love? Where will you find love? Where will you find love? If
Well, there you have it, and the music just suiting a whole lot of things based on our conversation so far. You've seen where do we run to as a nation if we don't embrace one another? That's the major message that music is saying out to every Nigerian, that it's time to embrace one another and embrace unity, embrace oneness. But let me turn to you, Ms. Abraham. What can Nigeria do to change this narrative? Because obviously we don't have anywhere to run to. It's still Nigeria, it's still our nation, it's still one one stand, one people. We're perceived outside as hospitable people, but what happens at our state level, at our community level, at our family level, that can help the narrative change and will stick to the fact that we're known to be a nation of unity?
First of all, if we don't change our attitude, then there isn't much that governments can even do. Every Nigerian does need to change. Every individual Nigerian needs to change an attitude. If you work, especially those who work in governments, because everybody who works in governments is a Nigerian government. Yeah. Have you thought about it? Everybody who works in any government.
You're the government.
You're
the one doing the workload.
Exactly.
The president will not leave his seat and come do your job.
So we are self-sabotaging.
Oh,
yes.
That's better.
Yes, we are self-sabotaging. Unfortunately, whenever all of this happens along the chain, and then of course the results is that things are not well. Everybody says government is corrupt. But what about you? Yes, we've had a number of people talking about good governance, good. We have loads of people talking about that, which is good. Yeah. But we should also talk to ourselves because we are the government. So the moment you work in an office, right, and you want government to do well, but you to do well on your own seat where you're working. That little thing you're given to do it well. If you don't do it well and you're getting paid, you're getting your full pay, but you're not doing it well.
Money for no work.
That's corruption. That's actually corruption, and that's why.
Money for no work.
So we don't need to change our attitude. We should, apart from learning to be one another's keeper, everybody has been so spoiled to the point that it's almost normal for people to be greedy. It's almost normal for people to be nonchalant about their work. And, on the other hand, if people are not punished for not doing their work, right? And if people are not rewarded for behaving well, then of course, that's on the part of those who should take responsibility for that. But every individual Nigerian, if you work in government, please change your attitude. You're actually the corruption, it is you. Yes, you are the one. Yes, you are the corruption. If you do business, then do business in such a way that it does not impact on the society. Because by the time all of you get together and say, let's add this, let's add that, so that it will go around everybody, you're actually shortchanging everyone else, including yourself, at some point. So we all do need to change.
Well, you heard it from her. It's time for Nigerians to embrace attitudinal change. The change begins with you as a person. If you don't put out the best attitude, who will do that for you? Because if you have the right mindset, the right perspective to life, to doing the right things, it starts at the grassroots, it starts at the individual, it starts at the home front. All of this, at your workplace, at your business environment, you need to change and allow songs like this tell you more story, give you insight to what the whole crisis, the whole damage that has come to us as a nation if we don't embrace unity and give room for healing in our hearts. The trauma process you need to recover from the trauma of depression. Yes, we go through stress on a daily because you need to survive. But like our guest had said, it's time for a change so that Nigeria can be seen as the best. It doesn't matter the number of tribes, the number of ethnicity, it doesn't matter what religion you're practicing. Just embrace yourself as a nation, and Nigeria will stand tall in the face of every trial.
Yeah.
All right, it's been an amazing time with you. speaking on this whole essence of embracing music. Through your work, we've seen your work you've done, you've added value to Nigeria, because that's what we're looking for too. We want people to add value to what we already have a nation. We have a lot of issues going on, so we just need healing process, we need building, we need people to embrace the fact that love heals more and gives us the oneness we want. Thank you so much for being a part of the program this morning.
It's my pleasure indeed.
Okay, we'll look forward to you, and we'll have that song out there, so look out for it. Where would you run to? That's it. You have nowhere to run to. Stay with us. It's still Global Morning, and all the activities lined up for the day will come your way shortly. Don't go anywhere.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. It's still Global Morning and it's a Saturday. I feel very relaxed because I've had something to heal my spirit. Nigeria can be better, I tell you. Well, Mukhtar is here with me and it's time for the newspaper headlines for us to tell you what's happening. Mukhtar, we have a lot lined up for us.
Certainly, we do have a lot of newspapers making the rounds, and we will begin with the Nation's newspaper. And the Nation newspaper has this bold headline which says, Imo, Ebonyi pay rise. Governors under pressure to raise minimum wage. Move, and there's a rider below it which says, move by Southeast States, commendable. This is according to the NLC president, Joe Ajero. The second rider says, in Plateau State, don't push government finances to the edge. That's Plateau now telling the NLC. And in Taraba State, it says, no funds available for increments. Of course, we know that Imo State has taken a bold stride in increasing minimum wage to above 100,000. And that is a good one. The workers I know will be smiling over there. And other states should follow suit. What do you think?
Well, that's the best part right now because, you know, when the minimum wage was being talked about, where the labor union were pushing for it to the government and all the negotiations going around, the focus was what states can pay because all states said they could not generate such amount to give out. But thumbs up to the state governments of Imo and Ebonyi who have actually put out the pay rise to ensure that the workers smile home at the end of the month.
But why is Plateau State and Taraba complaining, saying they can't? I know not all states are equal, but to an extent, minimum wage is a basic. Workers have sacrificed so much for the states, so why would you not be able to afford minimum wage when we've seen governors do some frivolous spendings that are honestly not necessary?
I'm sorry, this is Nigeria, and don't forget that every state has its own uniqueness, has what they can generate at the IGR level and what they can put out to Nigerians to see how the best bet is for them. But let's quickly move away from that because we have other stories making the headline. Let's not be the mouthpiece of the state government right now.
Certainly.
Well, there's a story here that says Rivers local government elections, Wike in fresh bid to regain political structure, and we have a rider that says APC seeks to take over councils as elections skip legal hurdles. Well, that story is above there, the masthead there of the Nation newspaper. We also have other stories making around as well.
Of course, in business, you would see that it says Dangote elevate Ethiopia to #2 urea producer in sub-Saharan Africa. And the rider says signed deal for new 3 MMT fertilizer plant, and that's a good one for business in Nigeria and even Ethiopia. It helps with bilateral relations across the African subcontinent, the continent that is.
Okay, so let's move on and get to some security stories. Here we have police engage hoodlums in 15-hour gun duel, 4 killed, adoption victim rescued. Well, we've seen a lot of improvements coming out for the security.
Yes.
So far, there's a lot of good recovery and also safety of citizens.
You know, from last week, we've been seeing strides by our security agencies, the army in the northeast, northwest, and I think even the police is taking a cue from that and they are sustaining the tempo, and that's a great one actually for our security.
All right, we also have other stories making the headlines as well. We have FG to release 2024 budget performance report next month. Well, the budget performance so far, because I remember when the budget was brought in, a lot of talks were raised about the sectors and how much they've been able to generate back to the state's force.
Yes.
Well, that story is on page 5. There you have it.
And then if you go below that headline, you would see one that says Lagos records 8,692 cases of sexual abuse in 1 year. That's not a pleasant one.
Okay, well, it's good that we're getting the reports and we're seeing what efforts are being put there for people to take notes.
And then above that, you would see by the right-hand side, it says conviction of Oshun Oba princes begin lobby for throne. We know this Oba has, funny enough, been convicted of fraud, and that's the COVID-19 fraud in America, and now that seat is vacant. So we have people who are eligible princes, are now vying for the office.
Well, this other story, but we can just let it fly. Says pastor rapes daughter, blames act on generational curse. That's on page 2. Well, he has. I don't know how generational curse will affect that, but that's not the story I want to talk about right now. I don't know how people just.
You have to be accountable for your actions. Do not blame whoever, anybody. As an adult, if you do something,
take responsibility. All right, let's move away from the nation and take other stories making the headlines with the Tribune. Saturday Tribune paper has this major headline boldly written there: ADC woos Jonathan for 2027 race. And we have a writer that says ex-president weighs party options. APC mocks him, says he cannot defeat Tinubu. That's on page 4 of Saturday Tribune. Well, time will tell. 2027
only time shall tell.
Is a lot of things happening.
Because people have been clamoring that he should come back. Some people are saying, no, there's no need to come back. But like you just said, time shall tell, and the electorate will decide if they want him back or not.
Well, we've heard this over the years where the electioneering year comes in, they're always looking for candidates coming back, and there's a lot of waiting for candidates to come out and be the flag bearer for them. But let's move away from that story and take you other stories making headways. There we have below the masthead, we have APC, PDP ignoring insecurity, hunger, public anger in favor of power sharing games ahead of 2027. That's coming from Dalong, where Dalong is speaking tough there, saying there's a whole lot to look out to, not just this whole dance.
Yes, Solomon Dalong. You know, he was Minister of Sports during the late ex-president Buhari.
Yes.
And since he left that office, he has been a bit critical of the APC, and this is what he has to see. But like you said, I think the electorate would eventually decide.
He's talking about both parties, whether APC, whether PDP. He's just saying, while looking at power sharing and all that formula, there should be more of that. They should focus on hunger and public anger in the country. They should pay more attention and give Nigeria the needed favor or the needed thing that Nigeria needs.
You know, in democracy, there are two things that democracy entails generally, and that is welfare and security.
Exactly.
So if the APC and the PDP are not giving that to the people, then they're not doing good enough, and they should focus on the important things rather than chasing shadows.
Well, the electorate will find out all of that when it comes to the 2027 election. That's what time will tell for us ahead of that. But let's move and take other stories. We have below the masthead, before I went down to that story, where it says killing of soldier, Bauchi police appeal for calm, set up investigative panel. That's on page 6.
That story, I saw it earlier this week, and it was saddening because police and soldiers are not supposed to have clashes. They are supposed to be a united front against insecurity in Nigeria. So if you are killing yourselves and the house is divided, how can you stand? How can we tackle our security situation when the agencies that are tasked with that responsibility are fighting among themselves? It's not a good one. Well,
the good thing is that there's been an investigative panel set up to tackle that, and we look forward to the outcome of that investigative panel because we'll keep our tabs to that. But let's see, we are facing the worst bandits attacks in Kwara State. Speaking boldly, they're talking about the insecurity and what they have been faced with. Bandits right now, not good, doing well for them in Kwara State.
Honestly.
And with security agents are also waiting it, I'm sure about that, looking at how they can restore peace and calmness and safety for the people in Kwara State. But let's take other stories. We have calm returns after police youths clash in Lagos. That's on page 4.
Yes.
Okay.
And then moving away from that headline, the next one here says, kidnappers abduct FMC worker in Ondo State, colleagues threaten strike.
Oh.
You know, we've been clamoring for the welfare of health workers in Nigeria.
Yes.
And on top of the fact that they're not really having the best welfare, they're then threatened by insecurity. That's honestly not a good one.
That's not a good one, but the truth is, they will definitely survive. We hope that the storm
will pass.
It's certainly pass. The medical operatives there. Well, let's take other stories here. We have below the long story there. It says Niger Delta youths condemn call for sack of NNPCL boss. Okay.
Because it was the same. We heard earlier in the week that it was Niger Delta youths who were protesting for his sack, and now we're hearing that they are still saying not to sack him.
Stories always have its narrative.
Honestly, they do. So moving away from that, we have this one which says, it's a bit of a funny one. He said, he married me for my property, later deserted me because I am now barren. Woman tells court.
Well, stories always come around family issues. Family will always have their stories to tell. But let's quickly move to the Punch newspaper. Well, that's it on the Tribune. Let's take the Punch. Saturday Punch has its own story, screaming boldly on the main headline. The Punch says, mixed fortunes as power supply improves. For the Punch, the Punch says mixed fortunes as power supply improves. That's we also have a writer that says Lagos Ogun, Oshun, Ekiti, Delta, Bayelsa, residents, Lord Steady Electricity. And we have another one that says Band A customers grown as Ondo, Sokoto, Yobe, FCT decry poor power supply. That's with the Punch. The Punch speaking there boldly. That's what it has as its major headline, talking about power supply. How has power been in your area?
Well, it's actually mixed for me because it's a system where you could have electricity for 2 days and then for 1 or 2 other days you don't get electricity. So I think I would give them a 50% rating for me.
Okay, well, the Punch has said it, and across the states, you've seen mixed reactions, mixed fortunes. Some are getting good end for their money because they have the steady lights, and some are saying we're going through hell right now. It's not even funny.
There's another angle. You might be getting the electricity, but how cost effective is it?
Okay.
Because you are getting more hours, but you're paying even much more expensive.
Don't forget the Band A, the ones actually crying out.
That's my
That's
point.
the ones in Ondo, Sokoto, Yobe, and the FCT crying out for that. But still with the Punch, we have some stories making the headways there on the Punch newspaper. We have there, it says how land grabbers led Nasarawa policemen to kill 7 in Lagos markets. That's another story entirely. Land grabbers has been one story from back and forth, if you see.
And it's not exactly, and I think the trend is getting worse. You'd see situations in Lagos State, across, and it's even moving to Nasarawa now. I don't know why people would not do due diligence in acquiring properties. There are processes that need to be passed before you can get these things. So I think we should just do the right thing, basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, we have other stories. I still expect my husband to walk through the door, widow of slain banker. Well, we hope that we just hope that could be true for her, because she still hopes that her husband is still alive.
Well, he's already been slain.
He's already been slain, but what can we do? That's what it comes to. People grieve differently, how they hold on to grief when people's lives are just cut short like that.
Of course, when you have somebody you love, it takes you time for you to really come to terms with the fact that they are gone and you might never get to see them again. So I think that's what she's actually talking about here.
Okay, we have abusive marriage. Lagos records 8,692 domestic violence cases. What's going on in the marriage area?
What's going on?
What's going on there? We have to ask a lot of questions. We can have this number of 8,692 domestic violence cases. You
know, I was reading a piece and someone said he is an advocate of the fact that people should be lectured in the art of marriage. That don't just get into marriage because you want to get married. You should pass through a class where you will be given the rudiments in how to be a husband or how to be a wife. And I think I support that, actually.
Okay, let's quickly move away from that and see what we said. Protest rocks Lagos community as cops gun down motorcyclists. Well, there's a whole lot happening right now in Lagos. Yes, I'm telling you, and we hope that gradually these things can find a way around themselves. But let's move away quickly. We have 30 states set for youth conference. That's another story below that. We also have where it has varsity profs demands 2.5 million naira salary.
Well,
increment is in Imo State already in terms of workers.
Certainly, and
so the transition.
Exactly, and I read somewhere that lecturers, the ASU president said a professor collects around 525,000, and I think that's a poor remuneration if you ask me. And this amount they're asking for, it's not really too much, because these people are the bedrock of our society. Because if you have an education institution that is fixed, then half of your problem as a nation has actually been fixed.
Okay, let's take a bit of entertainment here. We have this content creator. He says, beyond limitations, we have content creators turning struggles to wealth. Well, that's what we've seen right now. That's the new economy,
the creative economy.
Creative economy.
When you go on Facebook, TikTok, you see people just
families, individuals,
yes,
you know, business-minded people. The content creation is actually bringing up the wealth where people need to get, and people are moving into it. Even when you have a formal job, you do, people still do content
creation. So people actually leave their formal jobs for content creation because they feel it pays them better and it's much more flexible.
Okay, well, that's the much we can take with the Punch newspaper. Let's quickly tell you what's happening with the Daily Trust. It says Weekend Trust. Weekend Trust has its own dimension of its own headline, screaming boldly there. It says, in 2 years, Lagos gets 3.9 trillion naira projects. Lagos alone gets that. Have you seen the breakdown, the infographics there? It gives you all the breakdown line up there of how much Lagos gets in 3.9 trillion naira is what they get, and the infographics gives you a breakdown of how all of that is being distributed across the local government areas, the sectors, the economy, all of that playing around for the Weekend Trust. But let's move away from that and take other stories.
If you go above the mass, you'd see above the headline, you'd see Rivers vote in highly contested polls. And that story is on page 34 of the Weekend Trust. Another headline here says, Inside Banditry in Northwest. And that is on page 29. And another story here says, we must avoid Rwanda type of conflict. And that is Alhaji Lawal Sani. We all know how Rwanda was troubled with conflict, and of course, we do not want Nigeria to go down that road.
Okay, let's also see what's happening. We still have Inside Banditry in Northwest, that's on page 29. We also have Rivers votes in highly contested polls. And quickly, we'll wrap this up with the story. Here it says, Alagba Rago Market, demolition. We have our story by traders. Traders telling their own side of the story, how the demolition went down and how that is going to affect them going forward, to other stories making the round. Well, that's the much we can take right now on newspaper review segment of Global Morning right now. Well, we have lots of discussion to talk to you about here on Global Morning. We'll quickly take this break, and when we come back, we'll tell you, we'll take taste and texture. We'll quickly play for us, and then we'll now take our guest who will be talking to us about the issue of hospitality in the hospitality sector, how well and how far they've been doing. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. It's still Global Morning, and we're here again. This time around, we're moving the conversation away from national issues. Yes, a bit of national, but a bit of a different sector. This time around, we're going to the hospitality sector. What has been the contribution, the operational challenges, the evolution in the hospitality sector, and well, have they been faring as the hospitality sector? Well, we also have the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, who've been contributing their quota as well. And I have with me an amazing personality who I had to practically tell him, see, if you don't come here, I'm going to drag you. Well, I have with me in person the special advisor, communication and strategy to the DG of the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism in the person of Dr. Ajiboye Longe. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for coming. Well, it's been so much happening in the hospitality sector, and we have a bit of interesting information. But let me just run you through this particular story here. We have the hospitality sector is a backbone of tourism, and it has brought in a whole lot for Nigeria's economic development. Well, in Nigeria, it is evolving rapidly with new hotels, restaurants, and tourism services springing up. Yet challenges like poor infrastructure, training gaps, inconsistent service standards remain some of the challenges. Well, today we'll dive into the sector, how it has evolved, the opportunities, and the operational hurdles that comes with having that particular sector up and running. Well, we have some fact checks from the GDP and all of that things, how much it is actually contributed to GDP by National Bureau of Statistics that says Nigeria's hospitality industry contributes 2 trillion naira annually to the GDP. But some Nigerians still don't understand how this sector is actually employing and also adding value directly or indirectly to the Nigerian economy. Well, Mr. Ajibade, you're here. Let me progress to Ajiboye, you're here with me. I'm sorry about that. Let's talk about. Okay, let's talk about this particular sector, Doctor, and look at how well this sector has added to the GDP of Nigeria's economy.
Okay, thank you for having us here. Of course, based on my capacity in communication and strategy, I act like the voice for the agency, NIHOTO, as we call it, our acronym. Yeah. The voice for our DG, Are Dr. Abisoye Fagade. And we are very focused in our mandates in development of tourism, hospitality, and travel. Our area of specialization really is in capacity development. Okay. And that's why we are allocated as an institute. Our mandate is the regulation, the training and certification, especially from the registration angle of all personnel, practitioners and professionals within the hospitality, travel and tourism sector. Okay. Of course, with that description, you will know that we are challenged with training a huge number of population of Nigerians. It just incidentally happens that our sector is the highest, and I speak with all conviction, and you can fact check. We employ the highest, we are the highest employer of labor within Nigeria. In almost every family or household, you will have someone, both from the parents all the way to the siblings down, or relations, that have something to do within the value chain of the hospitality, travel and tourism industry. So looking at that on its own, you know that potential is huge.
It's very huge.
It's a largely, it has been, over the years, it has been a largely unregulated sector, and part of the mandate of the current leadership within the institute is to focus on making sure that the tourism industry grows and becomes a very, very, very huge contributor to the GDP of the country. Of course, we all know the kind of input hotels, restaurants, event centers, travel agencies, airlines, they contribute to the GDP of this country. So the potential is huge. Although it comes with its challenges,
of course.
Both in terms of challenges from the sector players, which are also, as you know, are largely private sector. We on the public sector end, our job is just to make sure that the industry operates within, the highest global, practices, global standards, so that everyone within the industry is, we all reflect a better and a good image for Nigeria as a country.
Okay, thank you so much for that guide and the breakdown basically on that. But like you mentioned, the sector employs over, from what I have over 1.6 million. You could have more than that as well, because we've seen across, just like you mentioned, the restaurants, the hotels. But let's look at how have you been able to manage in terms of training their capacity to delivery processes, because customer service is key. Because when you have good service given to you, people will come back to patronize you. And that's why people always prioritize where they see the best services being delivered to them.
Okay, let me take that in three different veins. First of all, that figure, the 1.6 you mentioned, maybe that's documented.
Okay.
The population of players within the industry, both in terms of personnel all the way to operators, is huge. It's probably 30 to 40%, if not more, of the entire population of Nigeria. That is huge. And it has been unregistered. There is no data. And part of what we have been doing in the past, say, 11 months, in which we have taken over the reins of leadership of our institute, of NIHOTO, is to collaborate with both existing sister agencies. If you go into the media, you see us collaborating with the likes of CAC, likes of National Immigration Service, the likes of Nigerian Police Force, the likes of even the Bureau for Statistics, in trying to get as much data, because you cannot prefer solutions in an industry without having an idea of who you are dealing with and the number of people you are dealing with, so that you can be better informed on how to deal with the challenges within the industry. So that is part of what we've been doing. We started with a lot of stakeholder engagements with the players in the industry, the associations, the hotels, the travel agencies, the tour guide operators. It's a lot of things we have been doing, and we are already seeing the positive impact. Of course, it may not be in the immediate, but over time, where you have a huge employer of sector that employs huge labor, you begin to see the impact. And then in the other vein I wanted to talk about was in terms of training capacity. When we assumed office, NIHOTO had only 7 campuses. The first campus was in Kano, 38 years back. We're that old.
Wow, that's
Bagauda. And now as at this month, we're in 26 states. We have about 5-6 major campuses. The rest are mini campuses and zonal offices, where anybody who is interested in being trained within the industry can reach out to our zonal directors there and get all the information. We're also online anyway. So the training, we have the capability, but we do not have the capacity.
Okay.
And that's why we are very, very big on collaborating with a lot of associations, specialized associations, in order to do this. We will not boast that we can train the potential of over 20, 30 million Nigerians who are interested in the industry or who are part of the industry, or even register that number. So we are focused really on collaboration. PPP is, one strong area we want to work on, and that's the easiest way of, instead of reinventing the wheel, why don't you just tap into what is already existing, but set standards across board. So tourism and hospitality, which is really the image, the face or the look of any country, is elevated within the country.
Okay.
And our mandate is about the people working within the industry.
Okay.
Purely the people. Our mandate is not development of infrastructure. Our mandate is not about those other extrinsic issues in terms of tourism development or hospitality development.
Okay.
That is the job of another agency.
Okay.
But the infrastructure or owned by the private sector is there, which is also within their own purview. But ours is to make sure we train, register, and certify the personnel that will give and offer both foreign visitors or tourists and internal guests the best of world-class service.
Okay.
And also, make it a better, huger employer of labor.
Okay. Well, so far you've actually given us a breakdown on how this has actually been built over the years and how the value to the economy, the GDP, has come into play. And that's a kudos to NITO for putting out that best the institute. Well, in Africa, hospitality market is projected to grow by 6% annually. But in Nigeria lags behind when it comes to comparing with South Africa, the likes in tourism. You see Nigerians want to travel, go to tourist sites. What could be the major challenge, and how can your agency fix this? Because I see that you have your step-by-step process to how you want to rebuild and put out your mandate for Nigerians.
Okay, yeah, that's a fantastic question, and as I said, incidentally, it's these kind of questions that we are using to provide the solutions to go forward. As I said, the sector, which we call it HTT, which is hospitality, tourism, and transit. The theme you put up was hospitality, but you cannot
coin it down just that.
Yes, and that is what our mandate is.
Okay.
All three, because they are interrelated. Just to also remind the audience is that we are an MD, an agency under the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and the Economy.
Okay.
So we also have sister agencies, and everybody has
a mandate,
a part to play within it. As I said, ours is personnel, practitioners, and professionals capacity building, and of course, because we have a huge part to play in terms of the personnel.
Yeah.
Change, as we say, comes with its challenges. People are resistant to change. And in order to alleviate that, what we try to do is we take it step by step. We call for constant engagement, constant sensitization, constant collaborations in those who have been playing in industry, and also try to let them understand that if we do not collaborate together, we cannot move or progress the industry. Those are part of the challenges. Of course, we know that with the increasing costs of operation, administrative issues, both on our end and on the end of the people those we are trying to regulate. There is also the area of bureaucratic hurdles.
Okay, of course, I'd like to ask that as well.
What we try to do is we try to wither down some of those
bottlenecks,
bottlenecks and hurdles, and that's why even from our operational model now, we do a lot of it digitally online. You can easily walk into our head office in Jabi, or our campus also in Jabi, and inquire, find out what's happening, and how you can get involved, either from the practitioner operator's point of view, or from a new entrant in terms of the personnel. So we try to break down some of those operational challenges so that it's easier for us to grow and develop the industry. And also, it's an opportunity for people to air their concerns, their views, and even prefer solutions, because no one is an island of knowledge. Where we also look out for, because we are also on social media, so we also employ people who have seen some things we are doing or expectations to also reach out to us and tell us what they feel. I hope that answers some.
It's a bit of here and there, but like you talked about your role in human capacity building. That's Nihilto. That's what you really focus on. But I'm also looking at how well you've been able to manage regulations, issues associated with regulations, because I know you mentioned earlier where you talked about your mandates and how how do you manage the regulations process?
When my DG assumed office, the first thing he did was to ask for where is your roadmap to this institute. And luckily for us, the DG before my current DG, Malam Kangiwa, had gone ahead to get what we call the Establishment Act. We have an Establishment Act that was enacted in 2022, which gives us the powers to focus on capacity building and regulation of all personnel, practitioners and professionals in the industry. So it's an act of law. Any architect that wants to build anything without a plan, plans to fail, you build a weak structure. We have that Establishment Act. It clearly states our mandates and what we should do and how we should do it. And we have gone according to that mandate. And we are not in any way unclear of how to approach our mandates.
Well, that's the defined role plays because it's a collaborative effort, just like you mentioned. You're looking for partnership and how that can put out the best of the sector, so Nigerians and everyone across the globe to see Nigeria as the hospitality hub or the tourism hub where you can come and explore opportunities and make your money as well.
Of course.
Well, we also have the effects of insecurity and unstable policies. How have Nihilto been able to manage through that part? Because some people want to travel to some places and they're skeptical. How have you been able to tackle through that?
That area may not be our own area of purview. You understand? Of course, the agencies, the government agencies saddled with that responsibility. We all hear on the news. They have been working night and day and night to make that a reality, and we also appreciate their efforts. So what we also do is to make sure that in everything we do, we abide by the law, and we keep even our programs within the safe areas. But the security situation has been improving.
over the time.
And we know that in due course, it will get a lot better.
Okay, as long as that's not affecting your business, because that's where I'm looking at. I'm sure concerned as long as they're putting their measures.
It doesn't.
Okay.
As I said, we are already in 26 states. So
beautiful.
for us to spread to 26 states, you should know
That's
that we are not working with any fear.
Obviously.
You understand? We are not working with fear. We know that our security operatives are capable, and we also try to make sure that everything we do is within a good security architecture.
Okay, well, there are a lot of opportunities in the eco-tourism, the local cuisines and the cultural tourism as well, where people need to travel from state to state to explore what best they can get to all of this. How have you been able to manage? Because like you said, if you're in across 26 states, which shows different local ethnicity and delicacies which people need to go try. How have you been able to manage your human capacity in all of the states?
Okay, part of our training mandate also is training of the culinary industry.
Okay.
We are very strong on that. And we have a lot of things to prove that. Naoto has the mobile kitchen, which is already commercialized. If you go around Abuja, they're actually preparing and, Nigerian cuisines where people can walk up to the truck and buy.
Okay.
We also in full collaborations with some of the best culinary schools in the country, where we're also training chefs and cooks and all sorts. So that's is a strong area for us. You'll be hearing in the media shortly, and I think it's already out there. In the past, we used to have an event called the gastronomy event, which has to do with culture, food and culture across the country. And we're coming with a bigger one this year.
Oh, great.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. It's going to shake, the country. My DG came out about a week or so ago with giving snippets of that. We're going to have a press conference very soon to let you know.
Okay.
But it is big, and anything that has to do with culinary, food and beverage, personnel is part of training, and retraining and recertifying is part of what we do as an agency.
All right. Well, it's been an interesting conversation with you. Now we understand better how your mandate operates, how you do better, how you've been able to also add value to the GDP of the Nigerian economy. And we look forward to more of the inputs your sector is going to bring to the economy, because Nigerians are looking for how we can diversify a bit and embrace the potentials that comes with all the sectors.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time here.
Thank you so much.
With Dr. Ajiboye Longe, who has given us all the breakdown on how that sector is thriving, the evolution. You've heard from him, they are across 26 states, showing that it's a work in progress. The agency is set to put out the best, notwithstanding whatever actually they have their collaborations. They're also embracing public-private partnership, and they're looking for collaborations from all walks of life to see how this sector can do better. Tourism is also part of it. It's not just stick to the hotels and the restaurants and all that, but tourism and how we can stand at par with other countries across the globe. Thank you so much once again for being a part of the program.
Thank you so
much.
We
look forward to having more of this conversation and all of your policies playing out.
Thank you so much, Katie.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll take Taste and Texture from Sadia. And when we come back, we have all the stories making around and other discussions to spice up your Saturday. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. In today's episode of the program, we'll be preparing moi moi. I am Sadia Yakubu. Moi moi is a Nigerian weekend morning meal for most homes because of its light and filling nature. Moi moi is a very popular food in Nigeria. It could be paired with akamu, pap, sauce, custard or even jollof rice and served as breakfast or lunch. Ingredients: cup of beans, fresh fish or canned Titus, cooked eggs, optional, vegetable oil, seasoning cubes, salt to taste, crayfish, sliced onions, red bell peppers. Steps in preparing moi moi: split the red bell peppers or shambo into 2 halves to remove the seed at the center. This practice is necessary because the seed had a bitter taste to moi moi. Wash and also pour off the green stem at the top. Put all of them, beans, onion, crayfish, and tattashe, red bell peppers, in a small clean bowl and use a blender for this if you have one. While still in the bowl, add the fish. Add oil into the grinded beans, half cup. Add seasoning cubes, fish stock, salt, cubes, Maggi cubes, and other seasonings of your choice. Distribute in many plates as possible or in ladle. Depends on how you want the output of your moi moi to look like. Some people use wrappers for this purpose. After the distribution, you can drop into the cooking pot. Some people use stem of the moi moi wrapper. You don't really need them if you would be careful. Add water simultaneously, making sure it doesn't top the first plate. Then cover tightly and cook for about 40 to 60 minutes, adding water at interval to avoid burning or too much water that would run into the plate. Monitor closely. You can bring out one of the plates after cooking for 40 minutes to check if it is done. Check again after 10 minutes. Once it is done, allow to cool off for 30 to 60 minutes. Then serve with pap, custard, jollof rice or sauce. There we go. Our moi moi is ready. That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try this recipe in your various homes and hope you enjoy the program. If yes, join me again tomorrow for another episode of the program. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. It's still Global Morning and we're still here. This time around, we're moving away from the entertainment to music to national units, which we've been talking about all day and all newspaper review. But right now, we're moving to a bit of sports. What's happening in the sporting sector? Well, we're looking at grassroots sports developments, and we will have a guest. I'll introduce my guest very shortly, but let's tell you, well, grassroots sports is the bedrock of national and international success. Nigerians' global football icons from Kanu Nwankwo to Victor Osimhen all started at the grassroots. Yet grassroots development faces challenges, which includes poor funding, lack of facilities, and inadequate scouting system. Well, on this segment of grassroots development, football development, we have my guest with me who will give us a breakdown. Who is a veteran who understands what building capacity and potential of young minds to give us the best of the best in sports. He's here with me. I have in person the former assistant coach who has coached young lads from across from the grassroots points of the under-17 in 2009, and also have him coach in under-20 in 2011, and he's done well. We have the assistant coach in person of Mr. Samuel Abimbola. It's good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you very much. Good to have you.
Well, we know that grassroots, like I mentioned in my introduction there, it has done so much to our football, but a whole lot is changing in the trajectory of, or in the narrative of football, especially with our Super Eagles, and how well we're seeing the likes of Kanu Nwankwo, who are built from the grassroots points. Let's start with your days being the coach, where you assisted as the coach in the technical team for the under-17.
Thank you very much. Well, we're under 17. The privilege and the good things that happened to us, that we're given enough time to prepare the boys. So that enabled us to move to noon and cranes of the country. And we're able to gather them together. We started our camping at Go Project in Area 1. And stayed there for about 2-3 months. The teams were moved to Ghana. We left Ghana, we came back to Ebonyi State, and the final preparation we were taken to Qatar. So we were able to really do elimination by substitution. Some will come after some stage. We noticed that by age discrepancies, they could not make it, and that was why when the issue of MRI came up, we are not really scared, because we really make sure we go into the grassroots and recruited the small young boys that were able to fine-tune, and they were able to try their best and make Nigeria proud.
Okay, well, we'll see that in the likes of Osimhen and all that. We'll see where you had Kenneth Omeruo and all those ones we were able to work with, even at the league level, where you also handled the Sunshine Stars. What was it like for you discovering these young lads at that tender age?
Well, comparing the Sunshine Star with the under-20 or under-17 level is a very different ball game. In Nigeria here, the owner of the teams like MPFL, they are not patient. They are not patient in the sense that they gave you the job in the morning, they want the result in the afternoon. And that has not been enabled coaches to produce a team that you say, okay, this is the philosophy and this is the methodology of this team. You get to the teams were recruited before you only comes to come and train them. So you are not able to really stand your ground and discuss that the average age limit I want in this team is also age. So you have to work with what you meet in the team. So in Sunshine, for example, I got there, and they made me to believe that some of the players have been dropped and they are on their way out. I have to plead with them. I requested, please, I'm coming newly. Let me see these boys. Maybe they may not be suiting to the method of the former coach, but since you people are asking them to go, let me have a look. Maybe 1 or 2 can be useful. And that was what really saved me. Because after the friendly match I used in testing these boys From there, it detected one of the vibrant central defender, and they've already asked me to go because he was going with his bag. The message that time was that he has not played in the Premiership before, and that is from a local team. I don't know him from anywhere, so I requested from them, please, I need this, and I was able to return about 4 players who now form my real key players during the league, and that player is Kunle Odunlami. If I've made mistake, within 6 months that I recruited this boy that is playing for Sunshine, Stephen Keshi saw him and invited him to the national team. And good enough, he was the integral part of the teams that won the Nations Cup.
Oh, awesome.
South Africa, Kunle Odunlami. So what I'm trying to say is that it is difficult. If I've not insisted for me to look and see that boy, that's how we could have lost that boy. Because frustration, going back to his local teams, he may not have that God again to go and try in other places, because his belief is that if I've tried so far and I've not been recruited, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe there's something that I needed to do. So that is the part of challenges. In national team under 20, I mean, in our time, we're given a free hand. And we're able to try our best to make sure that we justify the kind of respect given to us. So it's a different ball game when you compare the national teams and the clubs. The clubs are not giving free hands to the coaches to do their job properly.
Okay.
Some of these politicians will tell you they have their brother, they have this. Without the camera, everybody will tell you when you are being recruited during the interview. They will tell you, we are giving you free hand, everything is for you, go and do and make exploit. If you fail, we are going to deal with you. Immediately the camera is off. Everybody bombard you. I was the one that an instrument for you to be here. I have 2 players. This one I have 1 player. This one I have. And by the time you are now seeing such players, they are not up to standard. If you want to fight it, if you want to, then it means that you lose your job. But before, because of fear of unknown, the coaches have family, they need to feed their family. Many are not standing their ground.
Okay.
And that is based on principle.
Oh.
And that is why they keep on trying their best to see whatever result they can get with what they have.
And that's really on a very sad note, because if we want to get the best results, you need to put out the best players.
It just have to be.
And be the better. Well, let's talk about you. You are a board member of the FCTFA.
Yes.
And what is the level of football development in the city of FCT, in Abuja here? What has been the measure put in place to see how your technicality, your experience with the players on the pitch of play can form a good one for Abuja?
We've tried our best under the leadership of our chairman, Alhaji Abba Mokhtar. We've tried our best since inception of our being taking over the FA. Before, every league competition is played within the city. But we're able to do more than that. We extended to all the 6 area councils. So all the 6 state leagues, and what that means is that we are taking it to the grassroots.
Okay.
So that those who will have not been able to meet up with the transportation of moving their player to the city center, they were able to play in their own backyard, and we saw a lot of promising stars among them. And that has really opened the eyes of all these area council. I can bet you now, if you carry out your investigation, every area council is having one competition or the other. Right now as I'm talking to you, all the area council are at the top of it. I think some of them are playing final. Like today in Gwagwalada, I think there's a final going to take place on the 13th. And immediately after that, Gwagwalada League is starting. So in Buhari, so in Abaji, in everywhere. So I think that is one of the most important things that this present FA board have done to the grassroots. The chairman is interested in developing the grassroots.
Okay.
That is number 1, that is number 2, that is number 3. Seeing to the grassroots that the players are nurtured to the stadium.
Okay. Well, that shows you that grassroots, which we said from the offer, is a proof of potentials where you can bring up the best of players from their source and give them to the limelight, which they need, because we need youths to be called out of restiveness and giving them the best of it. But let's see, if he's putting out to grassroots, why is it still difficult to have a Premier League club for the FCT?
It's very simple. When you look around, the teams in Abuja are being owned by government.
Okay.
And this football industry, many have not believed that it's a very big industry, that they can make money, but you need to sacrifice first. Now, these people who are managing the government teams, they lack the experience, they lack the knowledge, they are taking it to be office work.
Okay.
And some of them thought that even the player who has the #1 main actor, that they are just doing them a favor. They are forgetting that if you are a director in your office, if you are a deputy director, if whatever you are in your office, that is your professional job. This player that you have recruited, that is where he's feeding his family. That is where he's thinking of how he's going to have his own house. That is where he's going to think of how he's going to buy his car. And you are now treating such people as if they are just slave, or you are seeing them as a non-entity, you are just doing them a favor. I think that is the bug. This board have tried a lot. We provide a level environment for all our teams playing in the National League. I could remember, year in, year out, before the season started, the chairman will organize a seminar.
Okay.
We'll call all the teams. If we're asking them if they want us to go and talk to their management on their behalf, so that the management can sit tight or improve on the funding of the teams. But we now notice that these middlemen in between will not even want us to get closer to the hierarchy of their management. And there is nothing the FA can. FA cannot be paying the salary of coaches. FA cannot be paying the players. FA have provided infrastructure. In Abuja, Abuja is the only ECS place where you are paying little money to prepare the match. Nobody is taxing them. The chairman is interested, and let's encourage them so that the teams can get better.
Okay.
And when you talk of even getting this promotion, what of the sustainability of the teams? We must get a premier team in Abuja here. In the person of, the names of EFCC teams.
Okay.
They were in premiership. But because of the sustainability, the teams went down. So, and year in, year out, struggling to see how they can get it. Sometimes they will be seeing it, but they could not get there because of, let me say, for example, I'm a journalist, you are a journalist.
Okay. I'm
being paid 10 naira. You are being paid 100 naira. You go extra mile to justify that because of the mileage. Now, with my 10 naira, I can only manage I'm limited. So these boys in Abuja, their remuneration is very poor, and the welfare is very poor. So they cannot match up with the teams that are the players are well fed, and in recruitment they are just managing with whatever they can pay. The player that can afford to do that and go on, that is what they are managing. So that is the part of the pain of why we have not been able to get premiership.
Okay, well, we know that over 70% of professional Nigerian footballers abroad were discovered through grassroots competitions, and most local governments lack the functioning sporting facilities, reducing the opportunities for young people. Just like you mentioned, it's one thing to put out these young lads, and that thing to also have the opportunities or the enabling environment to also put them out. And studies has actually shown investments in grassroots sports reduces youth unemployment and social vices, like I also mentioned. And let's talk about the fact that you were once a national team coach, and in the past, that's in the under 17 and also the under 20. And what were you doing then as a coach for the young lads that is no longer in existence now, that is affecting our national team? Because if we could discover them at the grassroots point, the Eaglets, and they did very well at that time. I remember when they won on home soil when you were assistant coach in, I think, 2009, since then. So what's different from back then?
Well, the difference is what I've mentioned. At our own time, we are given a long period of time for preparation. And now, because the hostel was in a very good condition, which we are managing, which we are using to prepare the boys. We had the cook that cooked for us, and so we're able to concentrate to do the job. And the caliber of people that was in charge of the team that time, the only thing that crossed our mind is that this is an opportunity where there are many coaches in Nigeria, and this opportunity is given to us. Let's try our best and see how to bring best out of these boys. Okay. That was our concentration, and that is what we believe on. So, but right now, I think the difference is that's why I want to really congratulate and thank the present NFF president, Alhaji Gusau, for building that hostel. You know, the hostel will play a very big role to really stabilize the issue of getting them in camp early for the competitions. And you believe that the high cost of hotel, if you are keeping them in the hotel for a period of time, the highest cost of money, I think is part of why the camping days are being reduced. But now, with this vision, building that hostel, I think is going to be a wonderful outing.
Okay, well, let's look at the finals of the CHAN tournament today, right now. If something we can just quickly just dive briefly about it. Nigeria didn't perform well in the tournament. And what do you think was the problem? And what are the ways that we can get out of this?
Let me quickly run down on that. We did not perform very well because of the caliber of people that were recruited. It is better for me to say the truth. And that is not the reflection of what is in the MPFL. Okay. I watched their matches. We have some good boys and younger boys. And there's a great mistake that was made. Coach Ileshuku, Daniel Ogumodede, I can vouch for them anytime, any day. Okay. Because I've seen them working. I've played against their team. I've seen them at close range. They are very good coach. Okay. And they did wonderfully well to qualify the team. But the mistake was that during the period after qualifying, some of the players recruited because of this issue of money. Some of them went outside the country. If the NFF or whosoever is charged have allowed these two people to continue to handle that thing, it could have been easy for them to make a replacement. One good thing was going on that time. Nigeria was having Super 8 of NNL. And anybody that watched NNL in Asaba will know that we have a lot of boys they could have used to integrate them and replace those ones that move out after the qualifier. Another error is that I expected our foreign coach in person of Chelle to really have respect those two guys. If I were him, if I'm in his position, I will only watch from far. I will tell them to continue their good job.
So he just observes from the distance.
Observe from distance. So whosoever you see now that is good, you should give them into the Super Eagles. So I think that really caused a vacuum.
Limitation.
Yes, because it is good sometimes to give kudos to those who have done well. You can see with the short time limit, Ileshuku and Ogumodede, nobody give them chance. And they were able to meet teams like Ghana, other tough African country, and they got the tickets. So you could have given them that honor to go
and continue what they stopped. Anyway, well, we hope that gradually people will understand what the technicalities involved in putting out the best hands when you see their strengths in coaching, because you have the experience and you have your success stories from Nigerian stars who have rose from community football, because you've actually put out the best of footballers from your team on the under 17.
Yes. Okay.
Well, we would have loved to take so much of that conversation, but I'm looking at time constraints, and we want to say a very big thank you for sharing your thoughts. We'll definitely have you back here to talk more on other ways Nigerians can do better from grassroots to the limelight and bring out more success stories.
I'll be glad to have that opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, where was it? We have the We'll be speaking with the former assistant coach of the under-17 and under-20 who coached then in 2009 and 2011 and stood in there, and he was able to tell us how much they've been able to contribute to Nigerian football, how it has moved from grassroots to limelight, and how things can be adopted even to the narrative in the FCTA, how Premier League can come to play, more opportunities given to coaches to tap into the raw talents and give us the best stars we want in our football. Don't go anywhere, we're still here. It's Global Morning. I'll be right back to tell you more. Welcome back. It's still Global Morning, and it's been an eventful outing here on Global Morning. I hope you had an amazing time with us. And I have my right winger here with me always. Mukhtar is here. Mukhtar, how have you been?
I'm very well. It's been an amazing program. The entire 3 hours has been, it's like we need more time.
I tell you, let's not call for that time.
It's been really fun. I had an amazing time.
Yes. Well, let's quickly just talk about the moi moi that Sadia prepared for us earlier.
You know who I am already, certified foodie, so that moi moi.
That's to tell you that Mukhtar has actually had moi moi kept for us with Sadia in collaboration, and I hope that's what I'm getting
I'm going to be behind the mic.
That will be behind the mic. It's been an amazing ride. Thank you so much for being a part of the program with us on Global Morning. We hope to bring you more exciting conversations and discussions across the sectors of the economy. And this is where we'll be drawing the curtains today on the program, Mukhtar. And then also what?
Well, have fun, enjoy yourself, but play safe.
Okay, it's Saturday. If you have an O1 best somewhere, please make sure it's not Mugbomoyao. Make sure you have your IV before you step out so that you look all gorgeous and smashing for the day. It's a Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I am Annie T. Patrick, and this will say bye for now.